Hey, this is Joe Gilder from HomeStudioCorner.com, and today I want to share with you a quick alternative to volume automation. Now, tell me if this has ever happened to you. You're working on a song and you start throwing in some volume automation. So let's say this vocal track here. We're rocking along, and as you can see, these are kind of the last line of the chorus, here, here, and here. They're significantly louder than the rest of the track. So you may want to come in here and you draw in some automation to get those a little quieter, and then you draw it back up, or you're doing it with a fader and you're actually doing it in real time, whatever the case may be. And that's fine, but I just find that I don't like automation if I don't have to use it. Now, if it needs it for certain phrases or certain parts of words that the first half of the word needs to be quieter than the second half, there are places for automation, and I will use it if I need it. But I find that I prefer this different method to achieving a consistent level that doesn't involve actual automation. In essence, it's kind of the same thing, but not exactly. So let me show you what I'm talking about. It's called clip gain or region gain. I'm not sure what the technical term is depending on your DAW. I think Pro Tools calls it clip gain now. Well, it's essentially this. You look at a recording, and if you're listening along, this section is a little too loud, then you come in and you actually just separate that section out, and then come in and actually adjust the volume of the section. Now, this is kind of fun because you can actually get fairly good results by just visually looking at it. So you can see, if I zoom in, you can see it tells me how many dB I'm turning it down, but I can actually just kind of match the size of the waveform with the other files and get a consistent volume between them. Now, obviously, you want to listen to it and make sure that it sounds right, but this can be a great way to get some consistency right at the source without having to resort to automation. So the vocal stays at a consistent volume, and you're not having to constantly be adding in automation. Because for me, I like to start off my mixes with a real rough, static mix, okay? I don't like to have to commit to things early. I want to have a mix with no plugins and just set the levels. And if the volume is really different from one section of a song to another on the vocal, then it's going to throw off my mix. So I'd rather have a fairly consistent volume all the way throughout. So for example, right here, these lines look a little quieter. Now we would certainly come in and listen and see if they need to be louder. And if they do, there we go. They're a little bit louder. Now they're a little more consistent. So you can do this. Don't go crazy with it, but just certain sections, if there's a verse that's a little too quiet that needs to come up, bring up the whole verse. If there's a chorus that's a little too loud, bring it back down. Now, the argument against this will be that you're adjusting the volume of the signal before it hits your plugins and your compressors and your EQs, and that can have an adverse effect on the way the compressor works. I understand that argument, but I haven't found that to really be an issue. We're not talking about huge differences in volume. We're really just talking about giving that compressor a consistent volume, which I think, in general, what I found, gives you a more consistent tone post-compression too. So if you find yourself getting a little frustrated with compression or with automation and you're trying to find a way around it, using clip gain might be the ticket you need to get a consistent volume without having to have automation. And the best part, you can hit play and move the fader without it jumping back to the previous automation point. That's a beautiful thing. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.